We're going to go live to a press conference right now from the town of West, where we can try and get the latest information. Obviously, the officials are speaking right now. Let's go to it live if we can.
Injuries from this explosion as well. Abbott High School is our relief center for the evacuees. That is where we are sending people that are trying to find out about their loved ones. Abbott High School, again, is the relief center for that. We know right now that our McLennan County Sheriff's Department is on the scene actively working this case along with ATF, who has been called in, as well as several of the other local government agencies to assist. I will tell you at the beginning that this is a crime scene. We are not indicating that it is a crime, but we don't know. What that means to us is that until we know that it was an industrial accident, we will work it as a crime scene. ATF is conducting the main investigation at that crime scene, which is the fertilizer plant. McLennan County Sheriff's Department will be investigating any of the deaths that resulted from that explosion that occurred earlier this evening. There will be investigations by McLennan County SO into some deaths. That being said, I don't have a hardcore number yet. I can tell you and confirm that we are still missing several firefighters that were on the scene fighting the fire. The explosion occurred while they were actively trying to put that fire out. There was a law enforcement official on that scene as well that was working with the fire department in some type of capacity. Until we know for sure who those individuals are in specific numbers, I can tell you that they range from anywhere from 3 to 5 as far as the number of firefighters that are missing. The casualty numbers, I don't have a hard number to give to you at this point. They are still working on that. I can tell you that it is estimated anywhere from 5 to 15 at this point. I know that's a rough estimate, but that's the best that I can give you. I know some of you have questions, but what I will ask you to do is please let me call on you so we don't shout over each other. It's very difficult to hear, as you all know, with the generators and such. That brings you up to speed on where we are. I will tell you that that area down where the fertilizer plant is shut down. That neighborhood is shut down. I just talked to the McLennan County Chief Deputy who has his troops there. He told me some of the devastation that his troops are seeing is that there are homes leveled. There are businesses leveled. He says it looks like when the blast occurred that the concussion and the pressure impact, if that's the correct wording, literally destroyed homes in and around that plant. We are, again, in the process of search and rescue. That is going to continue for some time. We are hoping that we will recover folks that maybe have not been able to get out from the rubble, but that process is ongoing. At some point, this will turn into a recovery operation, but at this point, we are still in search and rescue. I know that the area is going to be shut down. They will not give me a time on how long. I don't expect them to be able to give you a time on how long anytime soon. In these type of investigations, there is no hurry short of getting the injured out and treating the wounded to complete anything. They will take the necessary time they need. They will keep that neighborhood shut down. I will tell you as media, I know you're itching to get there, but it is not a good idea. Mainly for your safety, we're asking that you stay put. At some point this morning, I will kick it over to somebody from West. It's been my understanding that either the mayor will come back or a city official at some point will be here to address you. I have heard 10 o'clock for that time. So those of you that need to be here, please be here. And at 10 o'clock, some official from the city of West will be here to address you in a little bit more detail on what's going on down there. Again, at this point, They are working it as a search and rescue. They will continue to do that for an unspecified amount of time until they think that they have exhausted all means of finding people. And until that point gets here, what they will end up turning into is a investigative mode, and they will keep the area shut down. ATF will start working the fertilizer plant as a crime scene. Along with their resources, we'll start going from house to house and working any of what we'll term at this point questionable deaths that may have occurred from the explosion. I'll take some questions from you, but again, let me call on you, please, and make sure that you talk loud enough so I'm able to hear.
Sergeant, why call this a crime scene from the beginning? Why not hedge it a different direction and just say you don't know? Why call it a crime scene?
Better to label it a crime scene and then it turn into an industrial accident than to say at a later time. We always start out looking at worst case scenarios. That's kind of what we're doing here. I can tell you, I have heard no indications that this was anything other than an accidental fire. However, the investigators in this case have not been able to get inside and see, determine what the source of the fire was, where it came from, whether it was intentionally set or whether it was not. They don't know.
Is there anything to indicate from the radio traffic that it would have been intentionally set?
Nothing at this point indicates that we have had criminal activity. However, we are absolutely not ruling that out. The investigators will keep an open mind, and they will determine as they get through this investigation to try and figure out what occurred.
2 questions. Was this an all-volunteer fire department?
I don't have an answer to that question. I'm not sure.
Second question, what were they fighting the fire with?
I know they had their apparatus there.
Was it
trucks? Sir, I don't have the answer. I don't know. Yes, sir.
You said 15 to 20 casualties. We're talking fatalities.
I didn't say 15 to 20. I said anywhere from 5 to 15 is casualties fatality numbers.
So fatalities 5.
We know that we've had at least 160 plus injuries that have been treated at the hospital.
Okay, so 5 to 15 fatalities.
That's correct.
Right now.
Yes. Yes, ma'am. Not at this point. They will get a better determination on the amount of structures. I can tell you that that is a pretty compact residential and business neighborhood. I can tell you from being in there earlier that some of the homes that I saw, I described it earlier as tornadic type destruction. One home was okay. The home next to it, everything was shattered. Wood was showing through. Brick were pulled off the wall. It had no rhyme or reason as to what it hit or missed. Yes, sir.
At this point, what is the toughest part for investigators in that recovery?
The toughest part for the investigators in the recovery is going to be just having to wait to be able to get in there. Number one, they're going to have to wait until it's safe to do so. I can give you a little update. There was what was described to me as some smoldering fires that continued not only in the homes in the neighborhood, but also inside the fertilizer plant itself. Obviously, they're going to want to be very careful in entering any of the structures, whether it's a home, a business, or the fertilizer plant, because we certainly don't want any more casualties from this fire. Yes, ma'am.
Still a concern that the north side of town may have an evacuation?
I have asked that question specifically about the environmental impact and the potential for that to continue. I have been told by the emergency management people that are downtown that at this point there is no threat to safety from the smoke from the fire.